Hi, this is Glenn. I want to welcome you. This is the first in a series that I'm doing. This is the introduction. Uh, the content is about what I call my three P's of what every entrepreneur should look for when doing their due diligence on a home-based business. And so, in this introduction, I'm going to talk a little bit about the home-based business in general, and why it is poised right now in the global economy for major growth. Fortune magazine came out a couple of years ago and said that they expected over 40 million people to begin a work from home business over the next 3 to 5 years that we're looking at here over the next 3 to 5 years. And that was really before the economy began, going into free fall in the fall of 2008. And those numbers have actually accelerated. And when you look back in history over time, what you see is that this industry has predominantly had really good years, growth years, at times when the economy was worse. And it sounds odd, why would people do that? But think about it. People go out and they start a business, especially one from home that may not require as much capital as a bricks and mortar business. They start that because one, they're either worried about their existing income and job right now and realize they need to do something else to supplement their income, or two, the case may be worse and they've determined that they've lost their job and they need to look for a way to generate income and the jobs aren't there. And so that's been historically what's happened. So we're certainly seeing that now, that the market is actually better now for home-based businesses. And so, you begin to wonder about why. What's so fascinating about a home-based business? What makes it work so well? And what the experts talk about, a bunch of big long lists, but I think it really boils down right now to one thing, which is that, almost systemically over the last, 5 to 10 years, the American dream as we know it has really evaporated. It's been destroyed. What was the American dream? It was, get a job, own your own home, and build a retirement nest egg so that you could retire at 65 and do what you wanted to do. And, when you look at it, what's happened systemically, really in the mid to early 90s, the whole concept of job loyalty, disappeared and went out the window. The whole concept of company pension plans, disappeared in the late 90s as people who worked for 30 years for, companies, literally overnight, their pension was gone, and the corporate raiders, attacked them when they were overfunded, so they disappeared. That whole ability to rely on that, what people call the social contract, disappeared. And then I don't need to, talk about what's happened in the real estate market over the last 5 years, but it really has disappeared completely. People's, were relying on their homes that was shelter for future retirement. And I'm old enough to have seen that now 3 times in my life, that people relied on real estate for their retirement. And I used to say back in the 80s when I first got in the business, and we went through the early 80s when it was 20% interest rates, when everybody was talking in the cocktail party about how they were making more money from their real estate than their job, you knew it was time to get out. Well, certainly that bubble's popped at least twice, been inflated by cheap money and debt and all the other things, and that's popped. And so people are going through that shakeout of, is the American dream really there around the house? And then, last fall we saw, really kind of the last nail in the coffin, when 401k plans evaporated in a 6-month period of time. God, it hurts my heart to have seen some of the stories. I was watching 60 Minutes about 2 months ago, and they were interviewing people who were my age and older, in their, mid to 50s to mid 60s, and these were single women who had seen literally their 401k completely disappear. They were out of a job. They had no family to support them. And I mean, the stories were disheartening. These were hardworking Americans who had gone from a path of something being there to sustain them to it evaporating. And so that is driving people in groups to the home-based business market right now. So that concept of the American dream disappearing is gone. And so I actually think that the idea of having a home-based business will really come to the forefront as the great American dream. I mean, when you really begin to dig into it and kind of go back, to immigrants and people coming to our country, they came here because they could get a job, they could start their own business. Guess what? Those businesses they started were what we now call bricks and mortar businesses. Okay? And so that was really, when you think about it, was also part of the great American dream to have your own business. So it may literally be the last remaining piece of the great American dream. And you know what? In this economy, in our world, I actually believe it's probably the most sustainable, because it really, it relies on you. Just like the bakers and the butchers and the people that we look at that were the core and the fabric of our society, that got up at 4 o'clock in the morning and worked till 6 o'clock at night, and they worked their job. Those people created dreams. They made them happen. And the concept that's so exciting right now for me is with the development of the internet, where it's now moved really from that innovator stage into the probably more into the early majority, which is a big piece of the market. What's happened now is that the internet makes what you do in your business become immediately visible. Gone are the time periods of you had to spend years to where you can make an impact in a marketplace. This is truly built for immediate results. You can go out and you can, in this day and age of technology, you can go to Google and be advertising and driving customers to your business within 15 minutes. Okay? You can do a video on YouTube or something like that that may be really targeted, and you can have customers buying from you within, a day. Gosh, it's like you hang the "We're open" sign, and in this market, you can actually get people buying from you immediately. So the overall concept of having a home-based business is as good as it's ever been, and it's going to get better. I could talk about things like Donald Trump coming to this market. He and Robert Kiyosaki have been some of the greatest fans of home businesses over the last 3 to 5 years. They wrote books that had chapters in it. Both of them has said if they had to start all over, they would start in a network marketing home-based business. Well, guess what? That Donald jumped in with both feet in the last few months. He bought an existing MLM business. Okay. Now, don't run out and jump into Donald's business yet, because I'm going to talk to you about the 3 P's that are really important for you to look at. Okay, so we've gotten to that point that hopefully you feel the passion I'm telling you. A 30-year corporate veteran here who is looking at home-based business and the success I've had as a newbie over the last 18 months. Hi, this is Glenn, the Arte Guy, and this is actually the second video in my series of what you really want to look at when you are looking at an online home business. What are the key things that you want to do in your due diligence? What are the things that you want to really focus on? Just like if you were investing in a business or acquiring a business, I approach it 2 ways. I have a long corporate experience as an employee and an executive. And so I always went to a job when I went to a job, and I did due diligence on the company as much as they did due diligence on me as an employee. Sometimes I probably did more on them. And so I applied the same thing when I got in the home business industry back in late 2007. And so I'm sharing with you what those key points are. And my first video was kind of an overview. This one and two more are really all focused on what I call my three P's. And so the first one that we're going to cover in this is people. This is a people business primarily. Some people might disagree with it, not me. It's all about people, whether they're customers, teams that you work with, your support, etc. So you want to pay really close attention to the people you're getting involved with. What's their experience? What do they believe in? How do you feel about them as individuals? And lots of times you want to go with the facts that you find, and other times you want to go with, what's your gut tell you? Okay? Find out about their track record as a business person. What's their leadership style? You want to find that out. You want to know about them as people that you're interacting with. What's the community like that you're coming together with? How do they interact with you? What do they think of you? Are you just another number? Or is there truly a sense of community and professionalism that you find there with the people that are in the business? As a community, do they have programs in place that they are giving back to other members and to society that shows their true long-term belief about whether this is just a me business or is this really a you business? At a tactical level, you certainly want to make sure that your relationship with your sponsor, who's going to be your mentor, is there's alignment there. That when you talk about the business and you talk about one another and you get to know each other, does that person's beliefs in the business and what they're doing align with yours in terms of what's their big why? Why are they in this? You want to look at the support people. Is there a system in place that allows you to be supported, whether it's, a call center or a community in terms of a board and forum that you're able to log into that's private where you share ideas and work on solutions. And then really the last thing that I think it's really important to look at is what kind of plans are in place by the leadership team to develop the people as leaders and as individuals in the organization. We talk about that in corporate America. That's one of the beauties about this business is to be able to see things in, what we would probably call the Wild West of the internet frontier. But the companies that are going to be here long term, that are built to last on the internet, are those ones that are implementing along the way things from the bricks and mortar side of the business, from corporate companies that can help people get ahead and help people develop in their independent businesses on the internet. So, that's my first pass, and I promise that the next two are going to really get into some details of some other important things that you're going to want to look for. Hi, this is Glenn, the Arate guy, and I want to welcome you to this video. This video is my third in a four-part series, and that four-part series is about what I call the critical things that every entrepreneur should look at when they're doing due diligence on a home-based business that they're interested in. Secondarily, this is the second part of what I call my three P's. The first one was people and how to focus on and what you want to look at in people. And the second P is what I focus on and call processes and systems. And it's my personal belief, having come from a 30-year corporate background and looking for the things that fit in internet and home businesses that are there, which is your focus when you start a home business should be entrepreneur is really working on your business, not necessarily in your business. And so the things that you want to look at are the processes that are going to support you in you working on your business. So those things that I would start with that are probably key is what kind of a marketing system is in place in the home business that you're looking at. In my review of home businesses and my due diligence, I found many home businesses in the MLM industry and others, home meetings and bringing people to hotels and, face-to-face interactions, which is wonderful in this day and age of internet marketing and the fact that you have 1.5 billion people looking on the internet every day and searching. A company that does not have a strong marketing system that's built into that environment is like a bricks and mortar business that is eventually going to fail. And so you want to make sure that it's in depth, that it's got both training, it's got a lot of turnkey processes that are available to you as you begin to implement that in your business. You want to make sure that it's set up, that it's very expandable, that there's extensive reporting in place. And when I say reporting, both reporting on your marketing efforts so you can see results that you're able to test, as well as your team members to see how they're doing. So when you see somebody that may be doing well in terms of one component but not another, that you can help them see sometimes what they can't see that's right in front of them. So we call that kind of the duplication efforts. You want to be able to split test things, so very easily without having to build your own system, you can do this and this at the same time and see which one works more effectively for you. You want to see systems that are, integrated very well, whether they're reporting, communications, financial systems where you can see exactly what you're earning, what's working for you, and what's not. So, we started really with people and going through that. And the second part you really want to look at is the processes that are in place and the systems. If you don't have access to that in a due diligence, time frame, then you really want to probably look at something else. And you should be able to, just like you were buying a business and doing due diligence, you should have the opportunity to see those in screenshots as a minimum, or live preferably. Maybe through a webinar with the person that you're getting in where you can see them in detail and see how they work. So, that's the second one. I'm trying to be very specific with you to help you on your due diligence path. And I'm going to start with compensation plans. And what I would consider really the two key points around compensation plans. A compensation plan that you look at when you look at a home-based business, an existing company out there, and what you want to make sure is that you get paid upfront and that the payment that you receive is large. Direct sales program has those kind of benefits in that, and you get paid upfront. And not only, do you want that piece, but the second part is you want to make sure that there's some residual income in that. And, some programs have big residual incomes and small upfronts, and some have big upfronts and small residuals. And, ideally in a perfect world, you want both. And here's the reason, is you want a big upfront because people want to get in a business and see income quickly, because normally it's replacing an existing job or it's building something for them that they can leave their job. And so it needs to have a big upfront so that it can accomplish that goal. And then what's really important also on the big upfront is if it's not there, you're going to end up going broke before you get to the back end residual if it's a program that has a large residual for developing a large team. And so, you can't just have a large upfront piece too, because what ends up happening then is you burn out. You work real hard to build that upfront income so that you create an income that replaces maybe an existing nice salary. And, you work hard to do that, and you're basically selling and selling and selling and selling, and you're not getting leverage. You're not getting, results over time from your upfront efforts, and that's what comes in a residual. So ideally you want both, large upfront and a very good sized residual over time on the back end. I'm giving you the things for you to look at, and if you can find the things that maybe there's value, maybe they're unique, great. But that last piece about unique and being in value right now is important. Look at our economy right now. You want to make sure that your end marketing is unique, like I said, and it's set that it's something that will thrive in a down economy and grow faster. And that's that last piece. When you look at the opportunities available to people in a home-based business right now, you know, empires were really built in down economies. Where people built their business and started it, on a shoestring budget, in their garage, in their basement, and they learned how to be lean in tough times. And as times got better, their businesses really, really exploded. So if you can find a suited for these economy that we're in now, and that will continue to be in demand afterwards, that's a key component.